up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my all new review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. All right, so we start this episode off with Marceau and Tisha. Tisha wants to have a throwback party, 80s vibes, giving school days and all that kind of stuff. And when discussing, how they want to have an 80s party, Marceau said he can't do nothing else but a Running Man. Tisha asked, what is the Running Man? Tisha, did you listen to music growing up? Do you actually know anything about the 80s if you don't know what the Running Man is? But okay, fine. So we're talking about the guest list. And, Tisha, she does way too much, as usual, to talk about how she don't want to invite certain people. She don't want to invite Nell. Marceau said it'll look weird if we don't invite her. Like, we got to invite her. And this is all cast event, Tisha. You don't have no authority, and I don't think you have any credibility to ice out anybody to not come to an event. And then she's now questioning where Destiny's loyalty lies because she feels like Destiny did not show to be a good friend to her because she feels some type of way about Destiny switching vehicles when they went to the winery. I'm like, Tisha, the way you rewrite history is annoying as hell. And then to say that Destiny gave excuses for Nell. Not really. She gave no excuse for Nell. To be honest, Destiny was riding the fence for you versus her riding the fence for Nell. She was not showcasing to be the real friend to Nell like she's trying to portray. Like, fuck out of here with that shit, Tisha. Tisha is just annoying. Tisha has not changed since season 1. Okay? I don't care if she got her body done, allegedly. I don't care if she is wearing different colors in her hair. I don't care if she is wearing tighter clothes. Tisha is still the same exact person she was back in season 1. Okay? Like, stop acting like a fucking victim, Tisha, because you're not. And, it proves right here that Tisha never wanted a friendship with Destiny. She was only a means to an end, okay? She knows that she really wasn't going to be accountable and honest about the part she played in her friendship with Melody, and Destiny wasn't going to do it either. So they came together as common enemies of Mel and started exchanging information, wanted to expose it when the time was right, and that's all it was. So because Destiny did not conform into only being Tisha's friend and still wanted to be Nell's friend, now Tisha feels away. And Marceau, he ain't really shocked about her not being cool with Destiny because he said it last season that Destiny is everybody's friend. And I have to agree because when he saw firsthand with the way that Destiny treated her friendship with Mel, he understood why Melody was distant with her. He understood why Melody was not all the way in with moving forward with her as the way that they used to be. So hey, it is what it is. And then Tisha, she's just talking about when it comes to Nell, like she better leave me alone before I start talking about the things that I know about her and Chris and da-da-da-da. And Marceau said, I'm not trying to say nothing about nobody. I'm not trying to spread nothing about nobody. I'm not trying to reveal nothing about nobody. I'm not on that time. And Tisha, she wants to be on that time, but Marceau don't want her to do that. And he tells her that, listen, when you spill tea, be prepared for that tea to be spilled back on you. In a nutshell, he is telling Tisha, shut the fuck up. There's some things still lurking around about me being unfaithful to you, about me possibly cheating on you. These rumors might be true. And if you reveal what you think you know about Chris, Nell's going to come back and reveal what she might actually know about me. And I don't have time for that. So Tisha, shut the fuck up and stop creating problems for me. That's exactly what that is. And then this is another time where Tisha is on her petty childish shit. She want to say, well, listen, I don't want to argue with Nell. And she likes to argue. So I figure I'm going to have my mama come and deal with her. Because that's not what I'm on. Like, Tisha, how old are you? You are a woman in your fucking 40s. You have 3 kids. You are college educated. And you still can't seem to stand up for yourself. You still can't seem to have the confidence to resolve an issue that you claim you have with another woman. You got to call your mama like a fucking baby. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. It was automatic you sent your mama on Nell when you traveled to Bessemer to put the battery in her back for her to confront Nell. Like, it's crazy as hell. Like, I can't deal with shit like this. And Marceau, he practically called Wanda the devil. Because that's exactly what she is, okay? And I don't know how many times I can deal with my husband talking about my mama in that way, but Tisha ain't gonna say shit because she doesn't have the space to confront Marceau on the things she doesn't like. Anyway, they were trying to create a little cute rap to present to everybody as being a personal messenger. So I don't know the rap. I don't think I care about the rap. They showed up at Ken and Trisha's home, and then they showed up at Kimmy and Maurice's building. They rented like an old 1990s Lincoln limo. And in the rap, They spoke about Destiny, about how Destiny might come to the event with a new man. They're calling her out to be a hoe, basically. And her mom is going to be there. Don't run when she's there. It's just like, wow, Destiny. These people do not like you whatsoever. Then we pan over to Chris and Nell for a little bit. They are excited about the party. Nell wants to be cool. She doesn't want no problems. I don't want no arguing. Ken and Trish were talking about the party as well, and it might be interesting seeing Nell and Tisha in the same room, because at the winery it was a shit show. Both of them acted a fool. Both of them acted a fool in my party. Ken didn't want her to be involved in it, fine, but I still feel like Trish is a follower, period, point blank. Now we got Miss Wanda, honey. She is in her car filming, you know, on her YouTube channel, and she's not paying attention to the road. She could have crashed and hurt somebody. She's like, hey, y'all, it's Miss Wanda, baby. Hey, I'm back in Huntsville. You know, I'm about to come and see y'all. Nell, I got a bone to pick with you, Miss Nell. You talking about my daughter? Okay, we gonna get that situated. I said, okay, Miss Wanda. You got credit for me from the last episode when you called out your daughter and Kimmy for them not answering the question about the video, but here you are doing the most like you normally do, like creating an issue with Miss Nell for the sake of her talking about your daughter. It's like bullshit. Your daughter can fight for her own battles. You're not always going to be there to fight for them, and there's no need for you to fight for them. Like, this is the reason why Tisha wants to stay in the child's place, because she has been treated like a child. She likes to be enabled like a child, like to be coddled like a child, and don't want nobody else to tell her to grow up and be a fucking adult. Like, get the fuck out of here. Moving on. So we get to the party. It's at some type of school gym. I don't know which school they ran it from, but the setup was fine. Everybody coming in. Wanda is doing the behind the scenes red carpet type of thing. Will came. I think Will was representing punk 80s rock, because he had these tight ass pants. He had a black mesh shirt, black vest, and I was like, okay, Will. You know, Wanda was flirting with Will for a little bit. Then we got Trish. Trish was definitely channeling Left Eye from TLC. Okay, she had the ponytail with the scrunchie. She had the suspenders with the cargo pants. And she had the glasses with the condom. That was easily a Left Eye reference. I wouldn't say that was 80s, though. I would say that was, like, very early 90s. But, hey, Ken wore overalls fine. I love Chris and Nell's outfit. You know, she had the CrossFit with the fanny pad, the scrunchy socks, the scrunchy headband and everything. Chris, he had the color block with the bucket hat and the boombox. I'm feeling it. And you know, oh yeah, peep this before I continue. My kids had a 80s spirit day at school, so I was excited to prepare for their outfits, and they dressed so freaking adorable. But really, really cute. So Chris came in wondering, where is Destiny? I swear to God, Destiny, everybody looks at you as a fucking joke. It's not even funny. They were all laughing about who she might come to the party with, because everybody was there. Jalen was there. Lance was there. Will was there. Twan was there. Like, oh my God. You have been the main topic of conversation as far as like who you're dating. And it's just like, Destiny, you signed up for this though. Finding out that you agreed for this to be your storyline. When you were on Carl's platform, you want this to be your storyline. I would want this to be my storyline. Yes, we can see you dating, but when you're deciding to date within a friend group, it makes you look a certain way. Yes, I believe you're not having sex with these people, but they are playing on the fact that you might, because you know everybody. Everybody is in close proximity with one another. It's like, word, is that really cool? Lance pulls up. Wanda asked, is he still with Destiny? He said, no, we're just friends. Wanda said, you finally left that hole. Goddamn. It's obvious that Tisha talked about Destiny to Wanda, and Wanda is like, fuck Destiny at this point. And then when Will was around the fellas, he made a comment about how they're all in a group chat, and he wants to look at the lineup to find out whose turn is it. Ooh, Destiny, they are making fun of you as being a town slut. It's not funny at all. Will is a fucking clown for him doing that. Kimmy and Maurice came. Kimmy definitely was given 80s with the contacts and the fanny pack and the neon, what's that word, galactic type of leggings. Maurice, he gave Easy E, which is not 80s, it's 90s. I'm like, fine, Maurice, you don't know your errors. Miss Wanda asked them about the video, what that girl said. Now, Maurice wants to say, It was a ball of nothing. I don't know that lady. It's very funny how now you want to give off a clear statement, but throughout this season, you didn't say anything at all. Funny. Martell, I gotta give the best outfit to Martell. He really came through. He had his little LL Cool J Run DMC fit with the jogger outfit. He had all the chains. He had the phone, and Martell had hair. Oh my God, he had the Gumby. He had the highlighted curve with the tip on it. I was like, yo, Martell, who did your hair? Whoever did your hair, please send their resume to Tyler Perry Studios, okay? Because that was a really good wig you pat on your hair, Martell. I gotta give it to you. You look really, really good. Wanda came and she's asking the tough questions about what was said in the video, and you talking about my daughter. Why you keep talking about my daughter? Martell said, I love your daughter. You know, me and her go way back to Alabama A&M, you know, and all the stuff we did back and forth with one another. We both said some things that was low blows. And of course, that's another thing that Tisha and Wanda never really wants to be accountable for, that they do take low blows. They do talk about things about other people and they go below the belt. Like, everything that has happened while being on this show wasn't just supposedly only things that Melody and Martell said. There were things you guys added on as well. So he pretty much goes back to his conversation he had with Marceau early on in the season, that moving forward, they're not going to talk about each other. They're not going to talk about each other's significant others. So he dodged the answer Wanda's question. He dodged it. He just wants to move past it. He said, I'm not going to be played with no more. If they don't speak about me, I'm not going to speak about them. Fine, cool. Giving you props for that, Martell. So everybody is there. They're having a good time. And it can't be a dance part without a Soul Train line. But I don't think they really did a Soul Train line in this justice. And then Miss Wanda had a wardrobe malfunction. Okay. She was dropping it low and her ass was out. They blurred it, of course. But I don't know if she ripped a stocking or she had a thong on that exposed everything. It was just like, I didn't need to see that, Wanda. And Marceau killed me when he said it was like an eclipse. You just can't look at it. And and I have to agree, because that was not something I wanted to see. And that's your mama, Tisha. Your mama has always embarrassed you. And she has always, have been an embarrassment. Excuse me for that. So Destiny arrived solo dolo, wearing the exact same color like Martell. Oh my God, Martell, he was so obvious with trying to call out the fact that, Destiny, your men are here. Destiny, look, your men are all over here. And Destiny, she's laughing it up like we're back in high school. The guys are being ridiculous. But nah, real talk though, Destiny, these men are objectifying you. Like you are just nothing but a pass around. And it's not cool at all. And Twan was the only one who came up and hugged her, and she said that he was the most mature one out of the guys. And Will's talking about he really wants a chance to date Destiny, but he thinks he doesn't have a chance because of Twan. Well, Will, you pretty much showcase the fact that you don't want to be in a committed relationship because you don't believe in committed relationships. You have 4 kids by 4 different women. And your comments about wondering the type of girl she is, wondering if she's the type that give it up on the first day. So you've lost all chances with her to be in any kind of relationship with your comments and the way you're acting with these men. Like you are constantly having locker room conversations about her in a negative way. So get the fuck out of here. Destiny arrives and sits at the table with Trish, Tisha, and Kimmy. And she said, I'm sorry for being late. My nanny had an accident. And she's okay. She still came and watched her son. I didn't know Destiny had a nanny. She made it seem as if she's had no help at all besides her daddy. But okay, fine. We're going to learn more about that, I guess. So then Nell comes by and she sits by Tisha. And Tisha just has to make it a moment. She has to be passive aggressive. And this is what she does. She jokingly, which I feel like she's being serious and she wants to create a problem by wondering, why is Nell sitting by her? She said, oh my God, Nell, you're sitting by me? What you doing here sitting by me? Girl, you know we're filming a scene and you know we're about to have a round table talk and there's no other chairs and there's only one by you. So fuck out of here, Tisha. Stop playing with me. This is the reason why people call Tisha childish, and I feel like she is developmentally stunted to act like a 5-year-old because she has not evolved and grown to a mature adult. to move accordingly and not act on things in such petty ways. So then Destiny sits down with them, and Tisha once again be very passive aggressive, giggly, and jokingly put Destiny on the spot about how she did not get the proper invitation that Tisha gave everybody else. Because knowing that Destiny did not receive the invitation that everybody else got, Tisha wanted her to know that, and Tisha wanted to put her on the spot to realize why she didn't get that kind of invitation. Nell knew she wasn't going to get that kind of invitation, but it was a surprise that your bestie didn't get that kind of invite, but you want to make it a joke and put her on the spot about how, did you hear about the invite? Did you hear how we got everybody to come? Like, that is stupid as fuck. You're being extremely childish and very passive aggressive to embarrass Destiny, call her out about how she did not receive the invitation you gave everybody else. It's the same thing that Kimmy did to Nell at Fleshtivities. You purposefully wanted to tell Nell that she missed out on a good time because you never gave her the opportunity to say she can come and can come. You made that executive decision all for what reason I can't find. And the only reason why Tisha is acting this way because she's still mad about Destiny leaving their car to go ride with Nell to the winery, and that she called her ride with Nell peaceful. Okay, it was peaceful. I wanted Destiny to stand on the fact that hell yeah, it was peaceful, because I didn't have to hear y'all bitching and moaning about Nell and how y'all don't want to move forward, but y'all mad about her wanting to move forward. Like, I don't understand. Like, in that car ride, it looked like Kimmy and Tisha wanted Destiny to choose a side, choose their side, show more loyalty to them, and not try to be in the middle and still be cool with Nell. Why? Y'all don't have the right to tell anybody who they can and cannot be friends with. If, Destiny still wants to be friends with Nell, that is her right. Y'all can't blame her or hold her feet to the fire about how come she can't do this and do that. It's bullshit. And then, in retaliation to that feeling, you decide not to give her the proper invitation because of that. Childish as hell. Then she texted Destiny, and Destiny didn't respond in the way that Tisha would assume she would have responded. So that's when she created in her own mind, they're not in a good space. Even though Destiny said in her confessional, she thought that once they left the winery, they were good. So why are you picking a fight with me about this? It's stupid. Like, you can't give nobody time and grace to respond to you. Like, I know I'm not always good at replying back to messages, but that doesn't mean I'm ignoring you. That doesn't mean I got a problem. I'm just fucking busy. I'm just doing a lot. And I'm pretty sure you're doing a lot too, that you can't always get to a message when you can. Like, ugh. So then when Miss Wanda sits down, of course, Tisha is already setting up for her mom to be mad on her behalf by telling her what's going on. She brings up Destiny switching cars, and it's like typical Tisha. And this really isn't anything for your mom to be involved in. This is a small thing that you could have easily discussed with Destiny and have gotten to a common ground. But no, you held in all this frustration, but you can't be a big girl and stand on your own 2 feet and address somebody that you are having a problem with. No, you replace the battery that you need to put in your bag, you put it in your mama's bag, turn the on button, and get her going. And I'm with Destiny. She has the right to be annoyed with Tisha creating a problem. Like, this don't make no sense. You want to start shit with everybody else, and it doesn't make any sense as to why you keep doing it. Okay, so this is the part where Wanda comes in, and she wants to understand why Nell and Tisha are having a back and forth. Nell says it's because of something we don't want to talk about, which is our husbands, and the comment that Chris made about the NDA. Wanda wanted to understand how come y'all are having an argument when her husband said it. Nell agreed. Like, I don't understand why we're having so many misunderstandings about it. And that's not what Tisha wanted her mother to say. Tisha wanted her mother to be against the fact that she shouldn't be upset at Nell for what Chris said. But at the end of the day, yes, Chris made the comment, but Marcel and Chris squashed the comment. They never brought it up since then. It's been Tisha holding on to that comment since it was revealed, since it was out. But then Wanda is talking about how these young ladies don't know how the game is. Y'all got the game fucked up if y'all want to keep on arguing about stupid shit when the men are not arguing about stupid shit. Yes, bros before hoes. The fellas will always protect the other fellas about some shit that they don't want revealed. So why aren't y'all operating on that same time? And Nell was like, listen, I know I was talking to Fletcher, and I know he said this about y'all, but I'm like, why the hell did he say that? But at the end of the day, I'm the one that's caught in the crossfire. I'm the one that's caught up in this mess, and I didn't say it. So Wanda is recognizing that somebody is carrying bones back and forth to keep y'all in this space. So whoever is carrying bones needs to stop carrying these bones. And now it was towards Destiny. But Destiny did not want to step up and admit she's the one that's been going back and forth and telling these ladies everything. Then Wanda said that if your husband made a comment about somebody else's husband, then his ass needs to be checked. That's when Nell said, oh, trust me, your damn daughter checked him. And I feel like that's not what was being addressed. It's the fact that Tisha was wrong for approaching Chris, questioning him about the comment, demanding that he take back the comment and apologize when it was already handled. She didn't need to do anything like that. And she has escaped accountability and responsibility that she should not have done that this entire time. But when it came down to Nell saying your damn daughter, Wanda didn't like that her daughter was brought into that conversation like that. Like, why it gotta be that? She said, well, God damn it, I'm angry. I'm annoyed because I have been dealing with this shit and I didn't even say anything. So while they continue to go back and forth, you can tell Tisha was enjoying this conversation because that's exactly what she wanted. She wanted her mom to go after Nell like this. But at the end of the day, Wanda met her match with Nell. Nell is not afraid of her. Now, like, I don't know why Tisha's acting like her mom is a big bad wolf. Like, can't nobody check her ass. I don't care if she is somebody's mother. She's not my mother. And I can check her like she's the adult that she is and say, get the fuck out of my face with this shit. I'm a grown-ass woman too. So Trish is now recognizing that maybe Tisha should not have done this. Maybe Tisha bit off more than she could chew, because we see Tisha going back and forth trying to referee the conversation, knowing this is what she wanted. But this is what Tisha needs to be accountable for. She always does this to herself. She creates these problems, doesn't know how to get out of it, doesn't know how to handle like a grown-ass adult. Then she wants to go and cry to her mama for her mama to fix it. So they are still going back and forth. Wanda got upset about a comment that was made about Tisha, but I think that Wanda made that comment about Tisha and Nell repeated it, but I guess an apology was given, which I don't think it was right for her to apologize to her about. Then Wanda is checking Nell about how she's behaving and how she shouldn't behave like this because she lost her mother. But she's like, first of all, you don't tell me how to act. And I can see that you're here protecting your daughter, but I don't have my mother with me. So I have to protect myself. And you don't tell me how I need to act. And Wanda continues to go too far. So then she decides to say, it's obvious that the reason why you're acting like this is because what you did not clear up with your mother before she passed is the reason why you're behaving. And that's when everybody was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's way too far. That's way too much. That's very insensitive. She said, you don't get to tell me that. That's going too far. First of all, me and my mother were good. My mother stayed with me. I love my mother. She loved me. We cleared everything before she died. So you can't tell me what I didn't clear up. And that's typical Wanda. Now, if this whole argument was a mess, it did not need to go this way. And I forgot to mention, while going back and forth with Nell, Wanda did reveal that she lost her mother too, but she's trying to separate herself from Nell. Like, Nell is behaving way worse as somebody who's lost their loved one, and that's not how they should be acting. Wanda, you have no business telling anybody how they're acting because they've lost a loved one. And I don't even think that's the reason why Nell's behaving this way. I don't think that Nell is using her mother as an excuse to behave this way. No, I think she really was feeling annoyed and irritated by the things that Tisha has said and done. Now, if I was Nell and I was on Demon Time, I would have asked Tisha and Wanda, have they cleared things up with Kiki before she passed? Have they made it right with her family before she passed? Have they had a real honest conversation and have been accountable and have apologized for the things they've said and done about her niece and about her cousin? Something I would have responded back to. Because let's not get it twisted, Wanda. All the shenanigans and antics you've been doing since last year, people have been wondering, is it a result of you feeling guilty, feeling remorseful of the things you did to your own niece before she passed away? You blaming everybody else for her passing, but you've never not once looked in the mirror. And I want Kiki to rest. I'm not trying to make this all about Kiki, but that would have been something I would have brought up. I wouldn't have wanted to, but if you're going to tell me how I'm acting because I've lost a loved one, I can throw it right back at you. I would have been on Demon Time as well. It would have been something I would have said. Would I have wanted to? No. But you want to hurt my feelings? I could have hurt yours in return. But once Tisha calmed things down, Tisha said, I didn't want it to be this way. Yes, you did. And Tisha talked about, I knew it was gonna go left between Nell and my mother, but she never thought it would have been used based on emotions about losing somebody. Bullshit, Tisha. You know your mother. You know your mother goes below the belt. You know your mother goes too far. Stop playing with me. So then we get to what they agreed in the first place about how it was a misunderstanding. How about we move forward like the men have moved forward, like it is what it is. Then here go Tisha talking about marriages are hard. We shouldn't be talking about each other like this. We should uplift one another, encourage one another. Where the fuck is that encouragement, Tisha? I didn't see you showcase any encouragement when Mel and Martell were having their issues. You talked about it and you were making comments and judging them. Where the hell was that encouragement? You were doing the same exact shit to Nell, revealing that yes, Chris cheated on her a long time ago, but they have gotten over that. Like, you have constantly like to point out the mistakes and flaws of another person in their relationship, but you wouldn't want nobody else to do it to you. Make it make sense. You enjoy hurting other people in their relationships, but you don't like it when it's done back to you. Fuck out of here. And at the end of the day, we wouldn't have anything to talk about if it wasn't for your husband. If your husband wasn't showcasing he's hiding something, if your husband wasn't showcasing he might be doing something, we wouldn't be here. At the end of the day, like I said before, all of this is because of what you're not getting in your relationship. You're not checking him about what he needs to do to make you feel secure and protected in your marriage. And you're using the same tactics, the same gaslighting, manipulative ways he does to you. You're doing it to everybody else. Move out of my way. Mel talks about how she understands when it comes to the husbands because she's been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. So she apologized to Tisha once again about anything she said that might have been toward her and toward her marriage. And I honestly wish that Nell would have apologized because this is like the 5th time that Nell has apologized to Tisha and Nell has not gotten one apology from Tisha. At the end of all of this, Nell was the one who was owed an apology because Tisha was the one who did the most with checking Chris, checking Nell, and checking everybody else who mentioned anything about her husband. But she can never address her husband about why people are having so many conversations about him. And I can't stand that shit. Now, again, Tisha said the night was going to go left, but it went it got turned around and she got an apology, which I feel is all she wanted this entire time. Now that she got another apology, now she thinks she can move forward with Nell. We can also hold each other accountable. We can be transparent. I feel like all this is a bunch of bullshit. Because Nell really didn't do anything to Tisha but address the fact that Tisha is not being upfront and honest about what she got going on. That's it. That's all. Nell didn't really say anything negative about Tisha other than how she's not talking about what she got going on, other than she's not talking about her feelings about what's been said about her marriage. That's not what she's doing. And she got mad about it. But I'm moving on because that was annoying. 80s party was fine. So now we got Kimmy and Maurice. Okay, they're having a date night. Kimmy is so excited about this date night. She's been begging for date night. And Maurice is only satisfying her for the time being, but he doesn't really want to completely give Kimmy what she wants. So while she's here excited, she's talking to her high-pitched baby voice about being out with him. She loves being out with him. He's checking her about how it really isn't a date night. It's more like a date day because there's so many other things you can do at night instead of going out all night. It's just like, really, Maurice? Now, what's so funny to me, though, Maurice, because I've gotten flashbacks. I've gotten little throwback clips of finding out you enjoy being out all night, but you enjoy being out all night with your friends. You don't enjoy being out all night with your wife. So to me, you micromanaging, you course correcting the term of what date night means because you think that there's so many other things you can do at night. It's just crazy to me that you have such a hard time not trying to balance giving your wife what she wants, but there have been plenty of things you've done without problems. Like you've been able to keep up your nightlife without anybody telling you to change. But for some odd reason, you just cannot do it when it comes to your own wife. I just don't like that whatsoever. So, and he's just talking about he's learning himself with therapy. He ain't learning shit. Maurice don't listen to nobody unless it's his own thoughts. Because then he's trying to decipher how the marriage menders were not on the same page in regard to what he wants and what Kimmy wants. Kimmy assumed that they were on the same page. They just spoke on things in a different way. And He mentioned that the female counselor told him it was wrong for him to expect sex 3 times a day, every day, believing that a woman is not going to be able to be ready to have sex all the time, and that the male counselor really was on his side. But that's not how Kim remembered it. Kim remembered him using a certain terminology to address that there might be some hypersexuality going on. But then he wanted to just defend it by saying it was because he wanted to understand the why I wanted. He wasn't saying that it was wrong that I wanted it. But in a nutshell, though, Maurice, that's exactly what he said. He wanted to understand why you needed sex so much. You wanted to know why it's a mechanism that you're using. Why is it becoming so soothing for you to want sex so many times? Because of something that happened in your childhood. But this is what Maurice likes to do. Maurice did not hear straight out from the male counselor that it was wrong for him to want sex all the time. So he is using the definition of what the counselor is describing him as a way to still give him the opportunity, the go ahead to still expect sex multiple times in a day, because he never said it was wrong. He just wanted to understand why I want it. But that's still giving me license to say I can still expect it. I can still get it. And that's not what that meant, stupid. Oh my God, that's annoying as hell. Like, Maurice really wanted to operate on semantics as to why the male counselor was on his side and the female counselor wasn't on his side. So he then pretty much points a finger at Kimmy for expressing to the counselor that she doesn't want sex multiple times in a day. And if that wasn't an issue that put them in therapy, then the therapist wouldn't have been on her side about wanting her more quality time than sex. So in a nutshell, he's pretty much saying if it wasn't for you opening your mouth and telling them that I need sex all the time and you don't want sex all the time, we wouldn't be here. Why you had to open your mouth and put me at fault about wanting sex all the time when you shouldn't have done that? So she's making excuses like she normally does about how Maurice hears what he wants to hear. He takes what he hears, holds it, and uses it to apply with what he wants. Yeah, that's exactly what he does. Exactly. And this man irritates me to my fucking core, because he's talking about how there's a difference between his desires and her desires. She said that's not true. Then he talks about how they're not equally yoked in that area. Wow. And then he asks her, was it not normal before? And what was normal before? He's trying to make it sound like they have had consistent sex for years without stopping, without a day or two not having it. And she said there were times where it did happen and it didn't happen. But when those times have happened, you did not get angry of the times that it didn't happen. So now I want to know, what does angry mean? How angry does he get? Does he yell? Does he throw things? Or does he does this passive aggressive psychoanalyzing thing he does, the gaslighting thing? Like, what does he do? Does he ignore you? Like, how angry does he get when he doesn't have sex as much as he wants to? Let me know, because there's something missing. There's something's not being said because they're talking in code. So he laughed and made it sound like she was the one that was angry when they didn't have sex. She said it was because those times we only met once a week. And obviously this sounds like this was the beginning of their relationship, where they weren't living together. They weren't living in the same area together. So whenever they had time to meet up, that's when they would have sex. But that's like a normal occurrence when you're just now dating somebody and you've gone to that realm of being intimate. When you haven't seen your partner in a while, yes, you become not sexually frustrated, but the anticipation gets higher and you want to pretty much jump your partner's bones every time you see them, because I've missed you. I haven't seen you. And he says he remembers it differently, and she calls him out about wanting to remember it differently because you want me to be the villain. And I'm not going to do that. So, yes, date night's not going well, because she says that at first Maurice was giving kudos to therapy, like therapy was working, but she says it sounds to me he's only acting right in therapy, but when in person he's not keeping up with that same energy. You think, Kimmy? I don't know why you get surprised every time he does this. Of course, he wanted to tell you what you wanted to hear in therapy, because he wanted the end result on him getting what he want. Now here in date night, he's only giving you an inch of what you wanted, which is date night, but he still wants to check you about how you're wrong for putting him in that position of being called out about how he wants sex all the time, and he should not be expecting sex all the time. Like you haven't gone through huge life changes to not want to have sex all the time. So then he said, so the only things that I wanted to do was to keep you happy and to act on that. So, no, she talks about, when he was doing his investment properties, he was doing shit. He was being handy. He was laying down carpet. He was putting down floors. He was building. Seeing him in action got her hot. But you're not doing those things anymore. So here I am getting turned on by myself. So she said, you want me to be turned on by you just by looking at you because you're pretty? No, that's just not it. And he said it was never communicated early that those were the terms of their relationship. Like it's a contract. So she hit him back with, it never occurred to me that I was supposed to be expecting to have sex 2 or 3 times a day. So here we are. We're not getting what we want. I think what Kimmy needs to also expound upon is when you were a man doing things with your hands, you were active, you were involved in things, that's what attracted me to you. And now you're not doing those things anymore. And you're not doing anything to keep me interested anymore. I can't get turned on just by looking at you. Trust and believe, if your partner has done a lot of things to get you, he should do a lot of those things to still keep you. Maurice really thought that doing all those things to get Kim was enough to keep her satisfied after they got married, and he wasn't supposed to do those things anymore. That's not how that works. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. So to me, she's clearing up the fact that they did have sex multiple times in a day, but it was only when he would be active in doing things. And it wasn't just sex. They have time where they will be in his office all day just talking. And she's not getting any of those things anymore. I'm not getting just conversations with you. I'm not getting you being in the mode of doing things that I fell in love with you with doing. I'm not getting that. So then he mentions the wanting sex 3 times a day. That wasn't about me. That was about you. So then she said, okay, so having sex 3 times a day wasn't about me. It was about you because you can get that anywhere. When she said that, he made it look like, oh, word? You saying I can get that anywhere? Like I can. But don't be surprised when I do it. It was something of that look that read something like that to me. So she's mentioning that while they have progressed in this relationship, there were moments where it was a good medium, and the good medium isn't there anymore. The spark isn't there anymore. So then he asked her, why did she marry him? She said, because you were building stuff and you were doing things. Now, that wasn't the right answer, Kimmy, because what did attract you to Maurice? What did? Because if you can't recall the time that you first said I love you to him, you can't recall the time that you first were starting to fall for him, and you're only going off about how he was wearing a tool belt that attracted you to him, girl, okay. I think that the flame has gone out. I think in the beginning when both Maurice and Kimmy were figuring out things with one another, she was excited about that journey, and now he's not on that journey no more. He's like settled. And he doesn't want to try anymore. He doesn't want to keep her interested. He doesn't want to keep that spark anymore. And she needs that spark, especially if her going through an aggressive stage of breast cancer that she could have died from. So you got to rev that engine once again. You got to like fall in love with me again now that I've gone through this change. And he's not trying to do that. So she said, I'm not mad that you want to be in this soft hand attorney and you want to be this soft hand error. Like, it is what it is. We just got to figure it out. So it's like she's telling him, I'm okay with you becoming this attorney. I'm not mad about that. But you changing to become this attorney has changed the way you used to do things before you became an attorney. Now I need you to apply those same things now being an attorney. Why can't you still become that spontaneous, adventurous person that I fell in love with before, now that you become an attorney? So you think I'm supposed to be excited about you just sitting at a desk all day, wearing suits all day? No. And then she said, we can't keep having the same conversations and you only calling me out like I've changed, act like you haven't changed. So we got to meet in the middle. We got to work through that. He said, there is no middle. I don't want to figure it out. So you're not trying to see your wife past what she already went through, but you want her to accept you from what you've been through. Okay. This conversation is going nowhere. And this conversation literally took hours. It was like sunrise, sunset simultaneously. Okay, they must have been there for a cool minute. But he said we're at an impasse because there is no middle. He doesn't believe that there's a middle. So she said, okay, well, if there's no middle, then why do we need to go to therapy? Why even waste money? He doesn't want to speak negatively over their lives. And she said, why would you even want to think that? Why would you want to do that? Then Kimmy reveals that before they went to therapy, he told her he wants her to be happy even if they're not together. So what does that mean? Now he keeps on going around in circles, not trying to say anything. The producers come in and say, you need to be clear, Maurice. He said, I'm not going to say it. So then Kimmy was like, but why would you even want to say it? Why would you even do that? So in a nutshell, it reads off as Maurice wants to get a divorce if things don't change for his benefit. If Kimmy doesn't let go of the fact that she doesn't want to have sex all day, every day, and just bend and conform to what her husband wants, then they're going to get a divorce. By the same point in time, he's not going to come out and be a man and say it. He's going to want to push Kimmy into doing it, push Kimmy into drawing up the papers and say, I'm getting a divorce. And that was pretty much the end of that scene. And he said, you ready to go? So towards the end of this conversation, it's evident to me that Maurice and Kimmy, I don't know if they feel the same way about one another like they used to. Because if Maurice thinks that Kimmy's supposed to be the same way since he's known her and she hasn't gone through any changes, it's ridiculous. And Maurice not looking at a change within himself to wonder, Kimmy is not going to be happy with just this. She's not going to set the bare minimum of just this. It's the same thing about knowing that you've been in a long-term relationship with somebody and you have grown with that person. You're going to go through certain changes with them. They're not going to do the same things they used to do. And in order for you to still keep that same spark of wanting to be together, you got to go through the challenges. I don't think Maurice wants to do that. He doesn't think it makes any sense for him to do that. But that was pretty much the end of the episode and season. This was the mid-season finale that they did not even say when they were premiering this episode. So then we saw a little preview trailer of what's going to occur the remainder of the season. And we're not going to get that until early March. So we're getting another break. Crazy how we just got another break before the end of the year. But apparently we're going to start things off with talking about Chris's license being revoked. Cool. Destiny's going to open more about herself. We're going to talk about her drug addicted mom. She finds out she has half siblings. I am really not interested in hearing about Ken and Trisha's relationships. They're going to be spinning the block on other people, getting into other people's DMs, whatever. Kimmy is going to press Maurice about why Marceau isn't done with her project. Marceau thinks he can check Chris about his license or anything of that nature. Chris said, you don't have the right to check me. And Marceau talking about it's going to be tough being my competition. He said, how? All I got to do is finish the project. Then Marceau and Maurice are going to get into it. He's going to call out Maurice for being in his soft hands hair again. And that's going to be hilarious. So the brothers are going to be fighting. I mean, this half part of the season is going to be very interesting. I hope y'all not just giving us clickbait. I hope y'all going to really give us real conversations. I hope we're going to get other conversations about other things. Destiny, you're finally opening up to us. We appreciate that. But that was pretty much the end of the episode. I hope we are going to find out the end of the situation between her and Maurice, because it's not really looking good. I feel sad for Kimmy. Like, as much as she is still going to fight to be with this man, it's just kind of like, where's your dignity? Like, where is it? Where's your backbone? Can't find it. But that's all I have. Please stay tuned for my next video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.